Hello, my name is Jörg and welcome to coachRED.net. In the last video we customized the bottom navigation bar. In this one we concentrate on the top. We will of course change the color, take care of the notch, add a logo and navigation when necessary. I get rid of the standard header by going onto the navigation tab and disabling the navigation header bar. I drag in a container to the very top of page 1 and call it header. Altogether 3 additional containers will go into the header. The first one I call notch, which will give us the necessary space on a phone with a notch in portrait mode. You can fiddle around with the exact number. 30 pixels height for this container worked for me. Right underneath the container for the notch goes the logo container. An image object goes inside this container for the logo. You really need to fiddle around with it. For me, a width of 175 worked well. Okay, I'm shamelessly plugging the coachRED.net logo here, but I think you get the hang of it, how it works. It's starting to look good. All which is left is to center the contents of the container and we have our logo in the header. Seeing it in the preview app for the first time, a background is definitely missing. So I select the header container, go under Style and Background and set it to a nice turquoise. How about that? A bit too intense. I toned it down to 70%. Very nice. Next I drag in a row element to contain the header navigation. I want 3 cells in the row. The left one for the back chevron, the middle one for the page title, and a right one for possibly a save button. Cell 1 gets an icon. I change it to the left angle icon and place it at the bottom. In typography, I click on the little icon in front of the font color and set it to the standard color content primary. Alright, cell 2 gets a paragraph and the content is set to the app variable current page. The page name should appear in the middle, so I center the contents of cell 2. Making the page name stand out a little bit, I change the font size and weight under typography. Next is cell 3. It also gets a paragraph and the content is set to save. The word save should appear on the bottom right corner of the cell. It's not quite there. I also have to set the bottom margin of the paragraph to 0. Now it's too close to the edge. To remedy, I set the padding of the row to 8 for right, bottom and left. The look of the header is okay. Now to the behavior. The chevron always brings me back to the prior page. So I define the logic for cell 1 as navigate back. Most modern phones have a notch on top. To give our header the necessary space, I want the container notch to be visible when I'm on a smartphone in portrait mode. Otherwise, it should not be visible. First, I want to know how wide a telephone screen is. So I click on the little triangle next to the phone and see that the iPhone Max is 414 pixels wide. Under Properties, Advanced Properties, I can set the visible as a formula. Should the screen width be less than 430 pixels, I want the container notch to show and otherwise not. The screen width is available as a system variable. The search term screen gets me to the system variable dimension screen.width. In the condition of the if statement, I check if the width of the screen is less than 430. If so, I want to return the value true and otherwise false. I saved the app to test it in the preview window. The header has enough space for the notch. Very nice. I need to squish the composer window a bit to test the landscape mode. And in landscape, the logo is on top of the screen, just how we intended. Before making the header a component, I just changed the name of the row to row navigation. Now I select the header, go to Properties, and then click on the square plus button to make this row a component. On the three main screens, I don't want the navigation bar to show, so I manually set the visibility to false. Page 1 is done. Off to page 2. I drag my header component on top of the elements on that page. Again, I don't want the navigation bar to show on this page, so I go into Properties, Advanced Properties, and set the visibility to false. Page 2 is done as well. Off to page 3. Again, I drag the header on top of the page elements and set the visibility of the navigation row to false. Next is the detail page. Again, I drag the header element on top of the page. On the detail page, I don't want the logo to show, so I set the visibility of the logo container to false. The navigation should show on the detail page, so I leave that as is. So I save it to test it in the preview app. Page 1, 2 and 3 all look fine. I have the notch and not the navigation menu. But on the detail page I didn't set the padding of the page correctly. So let me quickly do that. Saving it, and the detail page also looks perfect. The chevron in the header brings me back to the previous page. Alright, this concludes our little series on navigation on Appgyver. In the first video we explored the standard navigation. The second video we customized the bottom navigation bar, and in this video the header. Enjoy and see you at another coachRED.net video.